heard about fatal wrecks on Interstate 81 involving tractor trailers. Now, 2 weeks ago, 2 men were killed in Shenandoah County after a tractor trailer rear-ended them and pushed their car under another tractor trailer, and a fire erupted. Last November, a woman and her 2 grandchildren were killed in Shenandoah County in an accident involving several cars and a tractor trailer. Today, Delegate Todd Gilbert and Shenandoah County Sheriff Timothy Carter have announced their plan to increase safety measures on Interstate 81 in Shenandoah County. And joining us now to discuss the issue is Shenandoah County Sheriff Tim Carter. Sheriff, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bob, for having me.
Now, last week, Delegate Gilbert asked you to increase your department's already existing program of speed enforcement on the interstate. I wasn't aware that you guys were patrolling interstate, but you do.
Yes, sir. We've for a long period of time had highway safety as one of the things that we do in our agency, but we haven't really included Interstate 81 until the last 7 to 9 months. So about 7 to 9 months ago, we decided to include that as part of our Highway Safety Initiative program.
So what does that involve now, and how will it be increased, or will you increase it?
Well, at this point, what we're doing is basically 4 shifts or 4 days a month. I have deputies that patrol the interstate. They're there on overtime, which means they're not pulling away any of the other services that we provide for county residents. And what Delegate Gilbert and I were talking about is to try and to increase the number of shifts that we have them out there.
Now, you say they're there for overtime. Where is that funding coming from?
Primarily, it's a grant that we receive from the Division of Motor Vehicles. That's primarily where the funding comes from for that program.
So 4 shifts a month, so 4 days a month, I guess you're
about 4 days a month at certain times of the day. What we did was we looked at traffic crash data that we had internally in the county, as well as calls for service on the interstate. And on those particular areas, those particular times of the week and month, we try to put some extra enforcement out there to supplement what the state already has.
Now, will you be able to increase it more than 4 times a month?
I think we will. We just received word from the Division of Motor Vehicles that we did get an increase to our grant funding for this coming year. So I believe we can manage that.
Okay. Now, at the same time, you have asked Delegate Gilbert to initiate the steps necessary to designate I-81 in Shenandoah County as a highway safety corridor. So tell us what that means.
Well, a highway safety corridor is a designation that's given after a thorough examination of the crash data, volume of traffic data, speed, and other factors that would go into that. There would be local input as far as that evaluation goes. So it's not something that one individual person can come in and say, we believe that this particular stretch of highway should have this designation. I believe it's a comprehensive study that needs to take place. We both, after talking to one another, believe that we're seeing more crashes in a particular stretch of I-81 in our county, the stretch from Woodstock to Strasburg. But not only the crashes that we're seeing, but the fatality count of the last year or so has gone up dramatically. That, coupled with the high volume of traffic and truck traffic, just vehicular traffic and truck traffic on top of that, just seems to us that there needs to be an evaluation of that stretch of highway.
It would seem like to the observer that every time there's a Operation Air, Land, and Speed, which the state police takes initiative at,
right,
that you don't have fatal accidents because there's police all over the interstate, state troopers, and people slow down and are more careful.
Sure. Well, and that's true. I mean, we have a very good relationship with the Virginia State Police in our county, and I know they work hard to keep the interstate safe, and this, to me, is just a couple of other things that we can do to try to improve public safety on Interstate 81.
Now, what happens if it's designated a highway safety corridor? What does that mean?
You know, honestly, Bob, I don't know all the answers to that.
Some of it's higher fines, isn't it?
Some of it is higher fines for violations within that zone. I believe there's an educational component to the highway safety corridor designation, but I'm not really sure of all those details at this point. I think that it may meet the criteria, it may not, but I think it's something we should look at.
That's something that's down the road, but the increased enforcement could begin fairly soon.
We'll do that as soon as we can man that time.
Okay. A difficult situation, and obviously one that people want to see remedied.
Yes, sir.
Shenandoah County Sheriff Tim Carter, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
All right, now let's send it back.